There's a guy, let's call him Paul. Paul went to church on Easter Sunday. Good service, great music. He even teared up a little during the message, which surprised him because he wasn't much of a crier. Something about the resurrection story told the way the pastor told it that year just landed differently. He drove home thinking, I need to be doing more of this. This is good. This matters. I want my life to look more like this. He meant it completely. In that moment, sitting in the car in the driveway before going inside, he genuinely meant every word of it. The next Sunday, he slept in. Not on purpose, not out of rebellion. He just stayed up too late Saturday night, and the alarm felt cruel, and his body made the decision before his brain could weigh in. The Sunday after that, he had a thing, a family obligation, something that had been on the calendar for a while. Not his fault. The Sunday after that, he went. But it felt different. The Easter momentum was gone. He was back to being a guy who shows up occasionally and means well. And by May, he mostly stopped thinking about what he'd felt sitting in the car on the driveway on Easter Sunday. Most men know exactly what I'm talking about. Top of the morning to you. I'm Brian with Kingdom Family Leader, and this is day 8 of our series, Better Than Going to Church on Easter. Sunday is Easter, Sunday, and today I want to talk about next Sunday. Not Easter, next Sunday. The one after the eggs are gone and the ham is eaten and the special music is a memory. Because that Sunday, that ordinary, low stress, nobody is watching Sunday, that's the one that actually tells you something about where you are. Here's what I've noticed about spiritual momentum in men. We're really good at peak moments. Big Sundays, retreats, men's conferences, moments of genuine conviction where something shifts and we mean it. We're good at those. We're not as good at the Tuesday after the retreat, or the Sunday after Easter, or the week after the conference, when real life comes roaring back in, and the feeling has faded, and the to-do list is full, and nobody is singing, and the moment has passed. And here's the thing about feelings. They're real, and they matter, and God absolutely uses them. But feelings are not a foundation. They're a signal. They're information. They're pointing at something. And if you don't act on what they're pointing at, if you don't build something in the direction they're sending you, they dissipate every time. Paul's mistake wasn't sleeping in the Sunday after Easter. His mistake was having no commitment, no plan for what Easter Sunday was supposed to be the beginning of. It was a peak with nothing built on the other side of it. And so, when he was feeling faded, and his feelings always fade, there was nothing holding him in place. Paul eventually figured this out, not from a sermon, but from watching his own pattern repeat for about the 4th time. He started paying attention to the gap between what he felt on the good Sundays and how he was actually living the rest of the week. And he realized the gap wasn't a character flaw, it was a structural problem. He had no rhythm, no anchor, no one to be accountable to in the ordinary weeks. So he did something simple. He called a guy from his church, someone he respected, someone whose faith seemed steadier in a way Paul never quite was. And he said, I want to start meeting for breakfast once a week. I need some consistency, and I think I need to stop doing this alone. The guy said yes, and that simple, undramatic phone call did more for Paul's spiritual life than every Easter Sunday combined. Not because the breakfasts were spectacular. They weren't. They were just two guys drinking coffee and being honest with each other, but they were consistent. They were every week, and consistency, unglamorous, ordinary, nobody is watching consistency, is what actually builds a man. Easter Sunday is not the destination, it's a starting line. The question isn't what you feel this Sunday. The question is what you're going to build on Monday. Because the resurrection isn't an annual event you attend. It's a historical reality you live inside of every day, including the unremarkable ones, including the Tuesdays when you're stressed and behind, and the last thing you're thinking about is the empty tomb. The men who grow spiritually are not the ones who have the most powerful Easter moments. They're the ones who build something in the ordinary weeks that keeps them connected when the feeling isn't there. A rhythm, a brother, an anchor. That's not complicated, but it requires a decision, and that decision almost always has to be made before the feeling fades. Because once it fades, the urgency goes with it. Before Easter Sunday, not after, before, I want you to make one decision about the Sunday after. Not a grand resolution, just one concrete thing. Are you going to be in church the Sunday after Easter? Decide now. Put it in the calendar. Is there a man you need to call? Someone like Paul's breakfast friend? Who could that be? Who could be consistent presence in your ordinary weeks? Reach out this week. Don't wait for the right moment. Is there a rhythm, a morning reading, a weekly gathering, anything that you've been meaning to start and keep not starting? Pick one, plan it now, and start it in the week after Easter, while the conviction is still fresh. The feeling you have on Easter Sunday is real. Honor it by building something with it before it fades. Tomorrow, the last day of this series, we're talking about what it looks like when a man actually lets Easter change him. Not just for a Sunday, but for good. You be blessed.